little girl got my grown on. Had a sister labor getting money, on.
Let's transition a little bit. A month ago, I had
Okay.
Jay Boog and Little Fizz in the studio. And they talked a lot about the breakup. And I got the energy that you guys do not get along.
Not at all.
That is a bad vibe between y'all.
Very much so.
And from what they told me,
Line it up on site. Okay, I'm sorry.
this is what they told. This Little Fizz and Boog said that the only way they found out they were kicked out of the group is through CNN. They saw the flash on the screen that Chris Stokes never called them and told them, hey, you guys are no longer in the group. And they said that this came about after they was questioning the money. And they said you kind of were already cool with Chris Stokes, like that was your people, Marcus Houston, all y'all were tight. Talk about that.
That's really interesting because Jay Boog is Marcus Houston's cousin.
Yeah, and I talked to Marcus
First
Houston. Then I talked to Marcus Houston 2 weeks ago on the radio.
Okay.
And he told me that they don't get along. Like, and I
Okay.
asked him how's family reunions. They don't have them.
The problem is, to be totally honest with you, when you sit down and have a conversation as amongst men, you know, like I sat down and had a conversation with Jay Boog, and I had a conversation with Lil Fizz. Being that it's 5 years later, and you sit down and you say, all right, yo, this is what I feel. You know, these are things that happened. I forgive you for anything that you've done for me, done to me, and I hope you forgive me for anything that I've done to you. When you have a conversation amongst men like that, you leave that there. So when it's 5 years later and you're still telling me about them talking about the breakup, it does something. It does something to me. You know.
Does it make you angry?
Well, no, it doesn't make me angry. It just makes me feel like they're living in the past, and they don't want to let go of. I mean, because there's always going to be. I mean, in the group, there's always going to be different sides to a story. You know what I mean? Because that sounds like a way off.
Right. Once upon a time, you guys were the biggest group out.
Right.
Chicks loved y'all.
Right.
And you went on with your life, and you were able to do radio interviews and things of that nature. They didn't really have that opportunity.
Yes, they did, and they tried very much.
But
so.
nobody paid them any attention.
Yeah, but whose fault is that? They the one that was trying to replace people with me.
But Omarion, you were the breakout star. Of course people are going to pay attention to you. You were the guy that was in front all the time, popping and dropping and doing all of that. Those guys kind of played the back. And why was that? From what they said to me, Chris Stokes gave you guys a role to play.
Yeah, but that's not true. And the only reason why that's not true is because I was the last member to come in the group. So truthfully, the three that were already in there already had bonded. So at the end of the day, I still was an outsider, if you feel what I'm saying.
Okay.
So when they say stuff like that, it's just like, they're not giving you all the pieces.
So you give me the pieces.
Well, truthfully, I wasn't the leader of that group.
Who was the leader? Raz B?
No. Well, he had a lot to do with the business. Raz was kind of like Michael Vivens. You know what I'm saying? Like the last tour that we did, Raz did. You know, he pretty much said, all right, well, you know, LCD. Like he was kind of like the business behind who we were. But I would say that Fizz and Boog was. I would say Boog was more per se. I mean, he was the person that kind of persuaded everybody to do it, you know. And then too, you know, it's interesting, you know, because, you know, they're doing their thing now. But like when we talk about this, it's always brought up in a negative light. It bothers me because a lot of my fans don't understand why. And why I say, because I am the breakout star, why I be like, no, we're not doing a b2k album, because they're telling you this side of the story, but they're not telling you they just did a gossip interview. And when everything was going on in reference to me getting dropped to Young Money, even though I didn't get dropped, they were the first people retweeting it and the first people saying like, well, yeah, we don't think anyone wants to invest in the kid. You know, like his, you know, you get your window of opportunity and then that's it. So basically, like I was finished. You know, like I didn't have 2 #1 solo albums, last 2 albums.
So you're saying they're trying to kick you while you're down.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I just want people and my fans to understand that that's what it is. Like I really wish them well. I really don't pay attention to them.
Do you think that they may feel like you kicked them when they were down?
No, I don't. I think that they're upset because, like, God blessed me with the opportunity to still do it and be successful at it. But I don't really know, and I don't really care to know because, you know, it's so many years later, and it's just like I would have wanted to, you know, say, hey, let's do something, let's bring b2k back and let's perform on the stage, but it's like with Raz B and all that he did, and you know, now the boys, and they're talking about, like, it's just too much. They shouldn't even be talking to you about that. They should be coming up here and saying, no, Omari's doing his thing, you know, like, you know, we seen, oh, it's no bad blood, like, but it's about us.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Right.
It's like 5 years later, and the opportunity to get you to talk about it, you want to talk about b2k.
Mm-hmm.
That's done and over with.
Mm-hmm. So outside of Fizz and Boog, do you still have a relationship with Chris Stokes?
Yeah, of course.
And what about Raz B?
Well, not as much, because Raz B is bipolar, and a lot of the stuff that he does is because of that condition.
So you think the allegations he made about Chris Stokes was a bipolar moment for him?
Well, of course, and I think it was an intention moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think it was a lot behind that.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think that
What
Chris
did
Stokes...
what did b2k, what did Fizz and Boog have to say about that?
Fizz and Boog said, and to be quite honest, that they didn't think that Chris Stokes did that, but they said that they don't know because Raz B lived with Chris Stokes. But they said they never seen any type of behavior like that. That's what they said. Any molesting behavior from Chris Stokes. So have you experienced, seen anything? Do you think that he's...
Let me explain something to you.
Okay.
Chris has not only been a great mentor to me, but he's been like a father figure as well.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I know Chris Stokes is because he's married to my auntie.
Mm-hmm.
That he has 4 kids. So
Mhm.
you could just imagine when all of those allegations and those things were talked about, what his kids had to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, as a man, that's just a lot of foul play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how I felt. But I just feel like it was a joke. I just felt like it was just, there's a lot of drama that I feel like is just sad, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the fame and the industry, it really can do that to you. And I mean, like, when people hear me and, you know, I'm talking about b2k, I really just want them to understand that it's not always, you know, as it appears to be, you know, in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I am really, honestly, a great person, you know what I mean? And I don't wish no bad on anybody. And that's the reason why I say, at the end of the day, I really just want them to move on from it. And I hope they are successful, and I hope they do what it is.
Do you think y'all can sit down and just say, let's move on and let's just let it go?
I've done that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I've
Mm-hmm.
sat down with them, and when we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still
Not working.
It's still what you're telling me. You're still telling me they're talking about the breakup and what happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
We're talking about this for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
No
So.
bullshit. Omarion, come on. We dead.